Are your dinks turning into pop-up putaways? If so, I've got the cure. Hey everybody, my name is CJ Johnson and I've been teaching pickleball since before it was cool. This is my friend Lori and today we are going to show you how to gain better control over your dinks and win more rallies at the non-volley zone. I see two common mistakes at the non-volley zone that leads to pop-up. And they're both energy mistakes. So we put too much energy into the shot and the ball travels too deep and then it becomes a slam. So the very first thing is I see players who short hop the ball. So first let's talk about what the apex of the ball is. So when the ball hits the court and it comes back up off the court at the very top of the bounce, that's the apex. So I'm just gonna hold it up here. It bounces, I'm gonna catch it there. I caught it at the point before it started to go back down. That's the apex of the bounce. A short hop is when you hit the ball before the apex. So it's somewhere between the time the ball hit the court and before it gets to the apex. The challenge with hitting the ball on the short hop is that the ball itself still has a lot of energy, and you have to take that energy into account when you hit your dink shot. So if you have whatever your normal dink stroke is, if you hit it on the short hop, that additional energy is going to make the ball travel further. So ideally, what you want to do to gain the most amount of control is to take the ball right around the apex. So let me show you first what this shot looks like when you're taking it on the short hop, and then I'll show you what the shot looks like when you're taking it at the apex. All right, so Lori, we're gonna do this. I'm going to take the ball on the short hop. So if you listen to the shot, you notice there's a lot of those were all short hops, and you should have heard that means I'm taking the ball before it gets to the apex. So if I do that, and there are going to be times where I have to, I'm going to have to account for that energy. Are you planning to attend a pickleball camp this year? If you are, grab our free guide, the 3 biggest mistakes pickleball players make when choosing a pickleball camp, and more importantly, how to avoid them. All right, now here's me taking it off the apex. You'll notice that the sound is different. So you'll notice it was more of a, I now don't have to account for the energy of the shot. If I take it right at the apex, that's when it has basically no energy before it starts to gain energy by going back down to the ground. So the very first thing is start taking the ball at the apex. Now I know that there are going to be times where you will need to short hop the ball. I'm not saying never short hop the ball. What I am saying is rely on, make your default shot a shot at the apex and short hop it only when you have to. By applying that logic, you're going to get more control over it. Now the second thing is also, it's like a popping of the dink. So I see players pop the dink and that adds a little extra energy to it. What I want to think about in a dink is I want to take the paddle to where I think the ball is going to be, and then I just simply want to push the paddle through the ball using my shoulder. So I want to, my shoulder is the key driver of the dink shot. It's the key driver of our ground strokes. But I want to push the ball through the dinks. So I almost want to feel like I'm taking and I'm tossing Lori the paddle. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like, Lori. If I'm popping the ball, here's what the pop looks like. Now all those dinks were over, but you notice it's a very poppy move off the paddle. Now what I'm going to do is use my shoulder as the driver and extend the paddle through the shot. Watch the change in trajectory. You see how the paddle simply follows through. It's almost, I like to think of it this way. I have the ball I'm hitting, and then I have 3 or 4 balls on the other side of that, and I'm pushing the paddle through the shot. By waiting for the ball to apex and then pushing the paddle through the shot, I'm going to gain more control, and I'm going to pop up the ball far less frequently. If you stop short hopping the ball and follow through with your shoulder, you will hit fewer pop-ups at the non-volley zone. I want to thank Lori for helping me today, because together we can train smart, live bold, and age well.